Ella, my daughter with profound autism, was recently sick. I had to pick her up from school. The symptoms started very, very quickly, no fever at all. By the time we got home, her fever was almost 202. And then I kept checking it because I was worried about the flu. She never gets a fever that's over 101 usually. Then it very quickly got over 103, and then it was 103.5. So I take her to the bathtub because, of course, I don't want to do Tylenol if I don't have to. And of course, this video is for entertainment purposes only, and none of this information should be used as medical advice. This is just my experience as an autism mom. I know that she's prone to low glutathione, which you can look into all of that and how acetaminophen affects that. And she takes this, it lowers her glutathione even more, which inhibits her ability to detox. So toxins then build up in the body. She is supplementing to produce more glutathione in her body. I haven't given her any Tylenol since I understood this information. I give her a bath. Her fever does go down very quickly to the 101 range. I gave her a very long bath, trying to just keep it down for as long as I could. But I knew because of how quickly it fluctuated and went up that there was a chance as soon as we got out of the tub that it would just spike back up again, which eventually we did have to get out of the tub and it did spike back up. Because it was so all over the place and it was on the higher end, I didn't want to get too close to a real temperature of like 105. I was by myself. I didn't want to take that chance without my husband there, and we would have had to transport her by ambulance probably to the hospital if it got to that point, and I couldn't control it. So I, for the first time since understanding how Tylenol affects her, had to give it to her. I gave her a dose. It of course came down. She was full of hyperactivity afterwards. I do think a fever is very healthy because it's your body's doing that to recover quicker. So I don't like interfering with that. But the fact that it was so high and Ella never has a high fever made me nervous. 4 hours later, almost like clockwork, the Tylenol wore off. Her fever spiked again to like the 103.5. I gave her the Tylenol. Within about an hour and a half, her fever went down. It was clocking only like 101. She became very, very hyperactive again to the point where she was up for hours on end. I didn't even get to sleep until like 4 a.m. I didn't give her any medication to help her get to sleep that night like we normally do. None of her supplements or anything like that because I didn't know how her tummy felt. About an hour after we gave her the Tylenol, she did throw up, which if you have a child that has severe autism and doesn't understand and you can't explain to them where to throw up, it's a whole nother video because they just do it wherever, and that is very hard. That happened, and I didn't want to give her anything else. She was starting to do well. I thought maybe she could tolerate to drink some water. I gave it to her. She threw up. After her fever broke the second time I had to give her the Tylenol, she didn't need it anymore. Her fever remained down. By morning, it was only in the 100 range, and then she just was so extremely hyperactive. Being the first time I gave her Tylenol since understanding the information about it lowering her glutathione and acting as an oxidative stressor, I observed her very closely, like I never have before. Following that day, following the Tylenol, she has been stimming an increased amount. So much hyperactivity, so much putting things in her mouth, so many behaviors that were getting so much better that I haven't seen in a while. Dramatic increase. It's very interesting if you very closely monitor behaviors after giving Tylenol if your child could be affected by low glutathione. I, of course, am supplementing with NAC to try and get her glutathione levels back up and get back to where we were, and hopefully that does happen, but it might be a process because it has depleted her now.